This video will demonstrate how to change the brake fluid on a Honda Shadow VLX from 1998, a VT600. There's a brake caliper, front brake caliper, which uses a hydraulic fluid to press on a disc to press on the disc brake caliper. And what you'll need is a screwdriver, some rags, a vacuum pump. You could get this one for $3 at the AutoZone, and probably a bucket where you could put the old brake fluid. What you need to do is look at the type of brake fluid that your bike requires. This one says it requires a .4. It says it right here. So you go to your auto parts store and get the right one. I got this one, Prestone .4. It also works for .3 brake fluid. Then what you need to do is the brake fluid reservoir right here has two screws. I already took them off. You need to remove this. Be careful when removing the gasket, plastic gasket. And if you notice that the brake fluid is very, very dark, very brown, then it's time to change it. Okay, I just removed the cap. This is what it looks like. It also has this plastic cover below it. And that's what the brake fluid looks like. It's brown, it's old, and I'm going to replace it. And we're going to use the vacuum pump to do that, because this helps reduce the amount of air bubbles, which are, you don't want that. You don't want air bubbles inside your brake lines. Gosh, that looks pretty nasty. So I'm going to put my rag in there. Carefully, and clean it up afterward. I was going to say, you may want to wear some gloves for this, and if you spill it on any of your paint, make sure you pick it up and clean it, because this takes off paint, especially if you spill it on your tank, whatever. Okay, I cleaned it out, but it still looks pretty nasty and worn out, this brake reservoir, so I think I'm going to change it in the future. I did try to clean that little glass hole. It's a little hole that has a glass that allows you to look at the level of fluid. But it's very worn out and it's gray. I think I want to change this reservoir later on. Okay, make sure your brake fluid bottle is sealed, and it has a recent date of manufacture. Here it says 2012. It can't focus right, but right there. This is 2012. You just can't see it with this little wimpy camera. But yeah, this was manufactured 2012 this year. Make sure it's sealed, and then open it up and pour some right in there before you start on the calipers down below with the vacuum pump. Notice the difference between this liquid and the other one. This one is very, very, very clear compared to the other one, which is very dark and old. Okay, when you put together the vacuum pump, make sure you pick the longest plastic here, which goes inside this bottle. That will, once you start filling this up with the old brake fluid, all the way at the bottom, it'll start to touch the tip of the pipe, of that plastic pipe right there, and then it won't let any more air. And also what you want to do is press the tip of the end and pump a bunch of times, and feel for pressure, that it does have suction. And feel the pressure, that it does cause some pressure there. If it doesn't, loosen it up and tighten it again. Okay, here we go again. Notice the noise that it makes at the end. I'm going to do this pressure test, vacuum test. That's what you're going to look for, that vacuum noise. It fits really tight. Take it off completely. Make sure you know where it is. And then take a 10mm wrench like this. The way we're going to let out the fluid is by loosening this after we plug in the vacuum pump pipe. Okay, for the vacuum pump, there's a bunch of fittings here, and I noticed the ones that fit the best are this one and this one. You basically put this one fits on this, onto this, and then what you're gonna do is plug this here, and then plug it onto the end of the tube here. Let's try it out. Okay, here it is. I plugged it in all the way in as far as I can go, and now we're just gonna plug it onto this little nipple here where the brake fluid will come out. There we go. Perfect. Okay, I'm not going to be able to do this on camera because you need kind of both hands. But the theory is that you plug this up with this wrench. Plug up the vacuum pump. You open up your brake reservoir. Make sure there's always a little bit of brake fluid in there so that no air goes in. And I would also recommend to straighten the bike as much as you can. Straighten the handlebars, make them go the other way. So then what you do is you grab the pump with one hand, you pump it a few times, make sure that there's pressure, there's vacuum. Then you grab your brake fluid, open it up. What you do is you let go of the wrench a little bit, you open up the nut there. You'll see the brake fluid starting to come out, and I would recommend to lift this as high as you can with one hand. And then what you do is you tighten again the wrench, and then you take your brake fluid and you go back to your reservoir and you put a little more. Do it little by little. Make sure that this is never emptied, because if you see that little hole down there, if there is no water covering it, if there's no fluid covering it, then you'll get air into your brake lines, and that is terrible. Okay, let's try it out. Okay, so I straightened my bike. I put the wheel as straight as I could. Put my toolbox, my heavy toolbox, right beside it, so it won't. Sometimes it decides to turn on its own. I made it as straight as possible. Now the looking on the reservoir is straight, which is better. We could actually fill it up a little more before we start. Okay, one important thing is to put some rags in your tank before you do it, before you actually start, because you don't want to get your tank all full of brake fluid in case you have a spill. So take as many rags as you need. Cover your tank with it before you start. Okay, as you can see, somewhere I did that. I loosened the little wrench there, and I did that to cause some vacuum, and the old brake fluid started to come into the little bottle. And this is okay here. I tightened the wrench. I did that for like 10 pumps, and then I tightened the wrench. Make sure that this is not empty, and fill it up some more, and then again repeat. Rinse and repeat. What you may want to do also after you do this part, tighten the wrench again, and then press the brake a few times so you could cause more brake fluid to go down. Okay, so what you want to do is keep doing that until you see the clear brake fluid coming through, and then you'll know you have it ready. What you want to do is pump it as much as you can so that it goes up. See the needle going up? You want that to have as much vacuum as possible. After you do that, you open up the... Okay, folks, so what you want to do is keep doing the process until... Leave the long tube in there, but just take out a little bit of liquid at a time until you start seeing the liquid come out pretty clear like that, and that's how you know you're done. What I do is I hold the gun up as high as I can with one hand, and then with this other hand I press down on this little knob here. I press down as hard as I can. I use the weight of my body at the same time grabbing this wrench. So with the thumb I press down using the weight of my body as hard as I can, as much as I can, to cover the little nipple. Then when you pump this gun, you're going to see the lever. You're going to see the little arm go up, up, up and cause vacuum pressure. And then over here, what you do is you push the wrench down, but you leave your thumb pressed with the weight of your body, and you look at the arm of the gauge. Make sure it's still like up here, which is 15 kPa, and then you press the wrench down, leave the thumb there, and then let go of the thumb a little bit, and you see the liquid gets sucked, and you're going to see the gauge go down. What I do is I wait until it goes down to about 5. It happens pretty quick. When it gets down to 5, you press again and close the wrench as fast as you can. And then you're going to have a little bit more liquid here on this side of the tube. And what you do is just suck it up. Leave it down on the floor like that and then suck it. Just press the vacuum pump here until it gets all sucked into the little glass. Once it starts to show, and then empty it. Once it goes just like a millimeter high, go ahead and empty it into a bucket. Close it back up and keep doing that until it comes out pretty clear like that. Maybe just a little bit yellow, but not dark yellow, dark brown. Okay, after you got it all set up, just close this nut here as hard as you can, but not too hard. And then look at the reservoir. If it does look halfway, a little bit more than halfway full, start turning the handlebars and turn the wheel until it goes up like that. At one of the edges, it'll be full at one edge but empty at the other because the bike is slanted and the handlebars are turned. But no brake fluid should come out, even if you do turn the handlebar, and that's how you know that you're ready to go. You're done. Now you could just close the reservoir back up and go for a test drive. Okay, tighten up as hard as you can, but not too hard. So you break the screw thread, and then basically get ready for a lot of brake fluid, oil all over your hands and everywhere. Make sure you clean up afterward. What are you doing?
I'm fucking with you.
Okay. Make sure you put the little plastic cover here at the end.